Hey, what's up, guys? This time I have another reaction. This is about how it's easy to steal 10k from a locked phone. Veritasium and Marks.
Put it down there.
Just put it on like a, alright.
I feel like I'm a bit of a magician, but I'm like, I haven't
Yeah.
changed anything, right?
Okay, yeah.
It's still locked.
It's locked.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
This is just a regular payment terminal. Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing weird about that.
Seen these.
We'll start with a little like maybe 100. No, maybe $5. Let's start something like.
Yeah, five.
Start with five.
Five sounds great. Yeah, $5.
Do you think that we can take like? Will we be able to get this out of your phone?
I hope not, but I kind of feel like you will.
Okay. You can see like the phone is locked.
See?
Like, you didn't put
So
the
now I'm
password
gonna
on
charge
it.
$5 on this device. Your phone's still locked.
You know
right?
when you pay and you put like
I
the
haven't done
phone.
it.
Like a David Blaine.
It's like the nerdiest David Blaine.
Just
Sweet. So let's try a tap.
it is locked.
There we go.
What?
It just works.
On my phone. Approved. Whoa, approved. So, okay. I heard something happen on my phone while you tap this on this.
Yes.
And it comes
we got
the
a little
bill.
receipt for you.
Here there's got scammed.
Credit. Verified on device, $5. So, I'm going to check my phone. Oh, I have a new $5 charge. And it's timestamped right now. I don't
Some
like
is
that at all.
paying like on the
So
store.
that's concerning. Oh, so my phone had to be on
The
this
phone.
thing.
Yes.
Did it have to be on this thing? Or like near it, I guess?
So the way, well, I could explain how it works, but maybe
Yeah.
before that, $5, it's not very much.
Yeah.
Do we want to try upping it a bit?
I
I'm gonna enter a slightly larger amount.
Careful. Careful with that. Careful. Careful. That's a lot of zeros. Careful with that. Oh my god. Okay.
Do you even think it's possible? Firstly, $10,000.
I mean, the limit on the card is above that. I don't know if Apple Pay will let you do that.
The question is also, are you used to spending this amount of money on this card? You know?
Not from my phone.
Not
This is
from
like
your
a
phone.
big screen activity, like
Yeah.
$10,000 purchase. I gotta be checking everything. So yeah, no, this would be unusual.
Let's see it. Let's see if it works. Okay, I'm gonna do it again.
Now we could.
We're just all we gotta do again. Put your phone locked
phone
on this device.
locked on that device.
Yes, exactly. And okay, we're gonna start the script again. Okay.
Just imagine like you losing your phone. You have like 10k or more, and your phone is connected to Pay Safe or multi-bank or each bank you have,
No.
and you lose like that.
Just green approved.
You're like, no, my phone is blocked. Can't do nothing.
That is crazy.
So
They don't know the
yeah, I'm
password.
gonna need that back.
Yeah,
For sure, I'm gonna need that back. But also, did that just? Yeah. Wow. It worked.
$10,000.
All right. I believe you. I definitely believe you.
10k.
How do we get this back? We do like a little Venmo or like PayPal.
You
How
know,
do we even
do we give it back?
The bank is like
transaction?
no warning,
No,
no
do I
nothing.
call my that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. You can keep this if you wanna
Yeah.
get it framed.
I get a receipt of the
The same as paying
total
like
damage. I never unlocked my phone. I never
$5
put in the
on the
password. I
store.
never did what I would normally do to verify a transaction on my phone.
Yes.
It just happened to be on top of that.
So how did we do it? Well, we teamed up with two cybersecurity experts, Professors Ioana Borenu and Tom Chofia, and we went to visit them at the University of Surrey, where they ran us through a unique hack that they developed to bypass a phone's lock screen and then to drain
by cybersecurity. Make that.
So how did we do it? Well, we teamed up with two cybersecurity experts, Professors Ioana Borenu and Tom
Imagine
Chofia, and we
people
went to
getting
visit them
that
at the University.
script and
of
about
Surrey,
the people?
where they ran us through a unique hack that they developed to bypass a phone's lock screen and then to drain funds from inside its mobile wallet.
Without unlocking my phone is the real magic part. That's crazy.
And the craziest thing of all is that this hack was made public back in 2021. So people have known that it's possible to take money
Bye,
from
bye.
locked phones in this way for 5 years.
So you
what
already
kind of
this
amounts
5 years?
is this?
to
The
check?
only limit is how much someone has in their bank.
It's not new.
Yet the loophole still hasn't been fixed. So how does it work?
A lot of people be like, nah, I'm safe. I don't have that money.
Well, whenever you use Tap to Pay, your phone and the reader exchange information about the transaction. But they send this information through the air via a shared magnetic field.
And
So
like-
we can intercept the communication and alter it. All we need to do is to insert our own devices in between the phone and the reader. First, we tap Marquez's phone against this. It's an NFC device called a
NFC?
Proxmark. To Marquez's phone, the Proxmark looks like a typical card reader, so it happily sends over its transaction data. That Proxmark then sends that data straight to our laptop, where we run a Python script to modify it. Next, the laptop sends the data to our burner phone, which I tap on the actual card reader. To the reader, my phone looks just like Marquez's. So both Marquez's phone and the card reader think they're talking directly to each other, when in fact all their communication goes through our series of devices. This is a classic man-in-the-middle attack. Now, getting in the middle to intercept the data is actually the easy part. The hard part is what you need to do to that data to trick the phone and the reader into authorizing the transaction. See, to actually steal money using this attack, you have to get past 3 layers of defense on both systems. And to do that, we have to tell 3 lies. 2 to the phone and 1 to the reader. So the first layer of defense is the simplest. The phone is locked. And in an ordinary transaction, you have to unlock your
You're basically in the middle of the transaction. Imagine your phone and the bank, and you're like in the middle changing the codes.
phone to pay. But this is no ordinary transaction.
So, you know, if you ever go to the subway, there's a feature that Apple's created where, you know, when you walk through, they don't want a bunch of people lining up and, you know, having to unlock their face and, you know, maybe they're wearing a coat and glasses and stuff.
Express transit mode.
Apple introduced Express Transit Mode in 2019 to let you make transit transactions without having to unlock your phone. The way this works is that the payment terminals on the subway or on the bus broadcast a message that identifies them as a transit terminal. Then when you tap your phone to pay, it looks for whatever card is in the transit slot of its mobile wallet, and it pays without needing to unlock. This is super convenient, but we can also abuse it.
We found out how this worked by going to the London Underground with our laptops and our equipment and actually scanning the signals and seeing what the gate was saying to the phone. And that's how we discovered this code the gate sent.
Oh, because on the sub,
We use the Proxmark to broadcast
you
that
can
same
use
code,
it
which
even
fools
if your phone
Marquez's
is
phone
locked.
into thinking that it's a transit reader. So when we tap Marquez's phone against the Proxmark, it's now expecting to receive another message with the details about the transit transaction. Here's what that message would typically look like in binary code.
binary
Each
code.
of these bits carries important information
Binary code. I did this like what, 11 years ago.
about the transaction. Now, the important part of this message for us is this bit.
Communication.
An authentic transit transaction would have a 1 right here. This tells the phone that the reader may be offline, like if it's underground on the subway, in which case the phone would need to send an extra layer of authentication. So when Marquez's phone receives the transaction request from what it thinks is a transit reader, it's going to be expecting that value to be set to 1. But in reality, the device sending the request
Gonna
is our
change to
retail reader.
0.
And this reader is online, which means that that bit is currently set to 0. Therefore, to trick the phone into accepting the transaction, we intercept the message from the reader,
It's like if he 1, imagine yes. If you change to 0, you say like no, like a denial, like language.
pass it through our computer, and we
Yes and
change
no.
that 0 to a 1. So by the time the message gets to Marquez's phone, it looks like a transit transaction.
As this communicates through our computer, we're convincing the phone that it is in fact talking to a transit terminal.
But now there's a second line of defense we need to break. With this first lie, we bypass the need to unlock the phone, and we can now trick it into making small payments of a few dollars. kind you'd expect on the subway. But if we suddenly went and asked the phone for $10,000, well, its guard would go way back up. After all, it's pretty unusual for a transit reader to ask for such a large amount of money. So this activates a second layer of defense.
Yeah, when you want to pay or get some money, your card has a limit, doesn't let you.
Verification. On contactless payments like this, there are two categories of
Because
transactions.
like it's
We
too
got
much
high
money.
value and low value. Any transaction that's classified as high value requires additional verification from the customer.
For example, in the UK, most banks require a PIN or fingerprint or facial recognition for any transaction over £100. So for us to get this $10,000 payment through without customer verification, we need to trick the phone into thinking that $10,000 is in fact a low-value transaction.
Same as like 1 high value, 0 low value. 10k is high value, so you change 1 to 0 to put low value.
And that's
Then it
actually
gets no
surprisingly
warning.
simple.
You don't need
That's
to put a
because to
pin.
determine whether the transaction is high value, Marquez's phone
Like
doesn't
$5
actually look at the numerical value of $10,000. It just looks at another single bit of information in the transaction data. A 1 here means high value, and 0 means low. The reason for this is that the boundary between high and low value varies from country to country. And of course, different countries operate in different currencies. So a simple label allows the flexibility to deal with these variations, and it allows the limits to be changed without the banks needing to issue new cards. So all we need to do is intercept the message from the reader, flip that bit to a 0, and then the phone will believe that this transaction is low value, even though it's for $10,000. Then, when the phone
Then
receives
he's
a
not going
request
to
for a
escape it.
$10,000 transaction, it doesn't ask for customer
put the-
verification. It just goes ahead and authorizes the transaction.
Read like it's not that much money.
Now, you might be asking, why is this data so easy to tamper with? And we'll get to that in just a minute. But we have one final security check to overcome. See, with these first two lies, we bypassed unlocking the phone and then tricked it into making a high-value transaction without asking for verification. So the phone is fully convinced and it's ready to make the payment. But we still need to convince the reader that the transaction's valid.
And this is where our third lie comes in. When Marquez's phone replies, it says it's approved the $10,000 transaction, but it also says that it hasn't asked for customer verification. No PIN, no fingerprint, no facial recognition. But if the reader sees this, it'll reject the transaction, because it knows that the $10,000 payment it originally asked for is high value. It should therefore require customer verification. So now we need to trick the reader into thinking that the customer has verified the payment. So we intercept the response from Marquez's phone and look for the bit of information that says customer verification hasn't been done. Then we change it to say that the payment
change
has
to
been
1.
verified by flipping this 0 to a 1.
Customer verification, it says
Now the reader's
didn't
happy.
verify
It
it.
forwards the information onto the bank,
But
and
0
the
to
bank
1.
authorizes the payment. After all, it sees a transaction that's been verified by the customer
like-
on their device.
Easy to say, but that is more harder. But imagine like somebody doesn't
Green,
understand
approved.
this, but he has the script all done on his computer.
That is crazy.
Verified on device? Yeah, verified.
You didn't verify.
Right.
So
Karoba, hold your
why
money.
isn't all this information encrypted?
That would
Even
make it
if he's not
impossible
a
to
hacker.
secretly tamper with. Well, the way the phone and reader communicate has to be compatible with thousands of different devices, which would be impossible to update all in one go. So for that reason, the information we've looked at so far is just sent across unencrypted. Even still, phones, readers, and banks all have checks in place to make sure an attack like this can't happen. And normally it can't.
Or
Except
like
if you
sell
happen
the
to use a
script.
specific type of phone and a specific type of card. Because when you combine them in this particular scenario, they create a loophole.
So our hack relied on a specific phone and credit card combination. We also use a sophisticated method developed by cybersecurity experts. But hackers or scammers online, well, they don't need to be that smart. Often they can just buy information to target you. When I started working at Veritasium, I was on a work trip to go meet Derek for the first time, and I got an email from somebody who was saying he was Derek asking for my phone number. That made a ton of sense. I was leaving the airport, so I just responded by sending my phone number. I immediately was like, wait, let me look at that. I checked the email, not Derek. Of course, for the next few months, I was just getting scam call after scam call. That's one way they can get you. I felt like an idiot, but it's not just scam calls like that. I've also had that feeling after news of a major data breach. I've wondered whether me using some website has led to my personal information being exposed somewhere without me even knowing about it. But you can protect your personal info with today's sponsor, Data Broker from India. So how
And phone make this hack possible. Firstly, the phone has to be an
Yes.
iPhone. As we saw earlier, when an
Only
iPhone is
works on
deciding whether
iPhone.
to ask for customer
I
verification,
use Android.
it doesn't look at the numerical value of the transaction. It only looks at the high value or low value label provided by the reader.
But other phones don't work that way.
For example, when a Samsung phone
Samsung.
goes into transit mode, it doesn't rely on this low value label from the reader. It looks at the actual numerical value of the transaction, and it only accepts a payment of $0. Then it relies on the transport provider to count up all the times you've used the subway, and then to send you a bill at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if a Samsung phone saw a transit terminal trying to charge you $10,000 for a single tap, it would immediately reject it.
But it's not just Apple's transit mode that makes this hack possible. You've got to have one specific
Samsung
type of
doesn't
card
work.
in the transit slot.
It was truly a
Visa.
design feature that was introduced by the way you mixed Apple and
Okay.
Visa.
And the reason that this works with a Visa card, but wouldn't, let's say, a MasterCard, comes down to the different processes they use to verify transactions.
So what is it about Visa's verification process that makes this hack possible?
In a previous video, we saw that any card transaction relies on a secret cryptographic key shared by the card and the bank. When you tap the card or phone onto a reader, the reader sends across a long string of transaction details. The card then applies its secret key to garble that message into a unique code for the transaction. The card sends this to the reader, which the reader forwards onto the bank, along with the raw transaction details. The bank then applies its own secret key to the raw data as well, and if the output matches the one from the card, the bank authorizes the transaction. This is called symmetric cryptography, since the card and the bank use the same secret key. And this step is required in all transactions, no matter whether you have a Visa, a MasterCard, or something else. But there's actually another layer of security, which MasterCard uses in all of its transactions, but in this particular case, Visa doesn't. This layer of security is not between the card and the bank, but between the card and the reader. And it's at this step where MasterCard thwarts our attack. The second step relies on asymmetric cryptography, so called because it uses two different keys, a private key for the card and a public key for the reader. It starts with the reader sending across the transaction details to the card, just like before. The card then uses its private key to garble that message into another long string of digits. This is the card's digital signature for the transaction. The card sends this signature back to the reader, along with the public key, which the reader then uses to verify that the signature came from that specific card for this specific transaction.
To illustrate how this works, let's consider a simple example.
The private key and public key both have two components. N is a shared number, in this case, let's say 55. D is the card's private number,
Private.
let's say 7. And E is the public number, let's say 3. Now, when the reader sends across the raw transaction data, it represents it as one long number. But for simplicity, we'll use a much smaller one, let's say 2. To sign for the transaction, the card or the phone raises the transaction number, in this case 2, to the power of its private number. So we get 128. And then divides this by the shared number, 128 over 55, which leaves a remainder of 18. And this is the card's signature, 18, which it sends on to the reader. Now, the reader needs to know whether the transaction is valid.
Valid.
So it takes the card's signature and raises it to the power of the public number. Then it takes the remainder when you divide by the shared number, 55. And you get 2. This matches the original transaction data the reader sent to the card.
2.
The reason this works is that the private and public numbers are specifically chosen, so that when combined with the shared number, the public key effectively reverses the operation of the private key. And this allows the reader to verify that the card's signature is valid, without ever having seen its private number. This is based on a type of cryptography called RSA. In reality, the numbers involved are much larger.
But that makes it incredibly secure, because that makes it virtually impossible to reverse engineer the card's private key. And it also means that even a one-digit change in the transaction data will produce a different result when the reader checks the phone's signature, in which case the reader won't approve the transaction.
This is a problem because we've modified the data. The reader's expecting a signature for a high-value retail transaction. But we intercepted the communication, so the phone's signature is actually for low-value transit transaction. This wouldn't pass the asymmetric signature check. But while MasterCard always requires this asymmetric verification, which would spot our hack,
Like,
Visa doesn't.
doesn't have
They only require this signature in certain situations, like when the reader's
all
offline.
that calculation that you saw. Visa doesn't have.
For example, when you're underground with no signal, there's no way for the reader to communicate with the bank for that first layer of symmetric cryptography.
SMS
At
less
least not until it comes
security
back online.
than
So
MasterCard.
during our attack, we make sure the reader is online the whole time. That way, it doesn't bother using the asymmetric layer of security, which contains the signature that would unravel our lives. But the funny thing is, we've tricked the phone into thinking it's interacting with the transit reader. And transit transactions are one of those times where Visa does require the asymmetric signature, since the reader could be underground on the subway, and therefore offline. So the phone actually does send across its signature to the reader, but the reader doesn't check it, because in reality, the reader's online. So instead, it just relies on that first layer of security with the bank. Even though, if it did check the phone's signature, it would have all the evidence it needed to stop the hack.
So yeah, there you go. Makes sense that it's that sophisticated because it shouldn't be that easy, but that still seemed way too easy.
It's like,
And Marquez was not the only victim. I thought it
you know, it's hard, but doing looks easy.
was only fair that I first try it out on myself.
Like, looks easy, like hacking your
Yeah,
phone.
your souvenir from the
But to
UK
make
from
it
Tom
work
and
is
me.
so hard.
Oh, what a lovely receipt for this theft.
And then I got another victim with a bit of a bigger budget.
Our channel
My
has
lady.
a CFO basically who lives very nearby. What we're doing is we're setting it to be your transit card. Okay. So that means that if you're in London, you have to use the tube. Yeah. It'll take money from this card. Something just happened. How you feel about that?
Oh my goodness me. Oh my god.
There you go.
We were just going to meet for a drink.
Perfect.
That's what, that was the agreement.
In the real world, say you had your phone in your pocket,
Yeah.
I would walk by you
Yeah.
doing this, and Tom would have this in a shop and pay.
The easiest way for this to actually be a crime would be a stolen iPhone,
Sure.
and then someone goes and spends thousands of pounds.
So you could buy a car with this.
Yeah, theoretically, jeez.
Yeah. I guess from your perspective.
That's a good example, like getting close to a person. But technically, you need like two people. Like one person close to another. No, like two people. One almost paying, like clothes or a car. Another trying to get like 1 centimeter close to another person who has a credit card or a phone
Would walk by you doing this,
with the reader.
and Tom would have this in a shop and pay.
The easiest way for this to actually be a crime would be a stolen iPhone,
Sure.
and then someone goes and spends thousands of
Or a
pounds.
stolen iPhone, like
You could buy a car with this.
Yeah, theoretically, jeez.
Yeah. I guess from your perspective, you've revealed all this information publicly, and you're telling us we're walking in.
But I think like the moment you lose your phone and you have like the bank connected, you'll cancel.
it in great detail.
I think
How
you'll do
do we
it.
stop people from using this can we stop people? Like, whose responsibility is it to stop this?
Oh, whose responsibility is it is an interesting question.
Yeah.
But you can stop it by turning transit mode off.
Or not turn it off and not have a Visa card in transit mode on an Apple.
Yes.
And you do need to be careful, because as soon as you have a suitable card in your Apple Wallet, Express Transit Mode is turned on by default.
This hack was first made public way back
Was
in
public
2021, after the professors had informed Apple and Visa privately. And to get to the bottom of why it's still possible, we reached out to Apple, and they didn't agree to an interview. But here's what they said.
This is a concern with the Visa system, but Visa does not believe this kind of fraud is likely to take place in the real world. Visa has made it clear that their cardholders are protected by Visa's zero liability policy.